new meta update just completely changed everything. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly what has been changed, how it's going to affect your brand's performance, and how you are going to find the solutions in order to fix the problems that were created by the update. So if you guys didn't know, Meta has slowly been transitioning more to ASC and AI to make everything hands-off, because they don't want the media buyer doing any of the work. They just want the media buyer to just go in the account and increase the budget based on performance. They launched something called Andromedo. It's an AI delivery engine. If you have two videos that use the same visuals and maybe you have one or two variations that are different hooks, now instead of two ads, Meta will now see it as one. So in order to test different hooks, etc., you're going to have to use a whole different ad with completely different visuals. So if you're doing UGC, the way to fix that is just to use the same angle, the same script, but just different visuals. So now they're making ASC the default campaign structure. And ASC honestly isn't too bad. The only limiting thing is the demographic targeting and also the fact that you can't have multiple ad sets. So I do find that that is a downfall. However, if you have multiple ad accounts and you still have the old UI, then you're not going to get affected by this. Audience targeting is automated. So it's, as I said before, it's all going to be about the creatives you offer in the product, which is going to actually drive your performance. As whereas before it was still the creative in the offer, but a big part of it was the media buying. Most brands now are running invisible ads and they don't know it because they're still running the old way. They have multiple iterations, etc., of the same ad, and Facebook is just seeing that as one ad. So what is Andromedo? Andromedo is an AI system that analyzes sequence behavior, such as your scrolling, your pause, your click, your rewatch, and it's not just what people do, but it's how they do it. So they're going to look at what websites you're going on to outside of Meta, what type of things you're looking at. Even if you notice sometimes you talk about things and then you get recommended an ad on Meta. So it's going to start looking at all those things, and that's how it analyzes you, and it finds out exactly what ads to target you with. It finds out your exact persona and your identity, your beliefs, etc. And this is built on a $65 billion investment in AI and data centers. So it's backed by real data. So ASC is now Meta's default ad structure, as I mentioned before. So ASC is Advantage plus Sales Campaign, and this will replace manual campaigns. So it'll no longer be CBOs, ABOs, big caps, ROAS, goal, any of that. From now, it'll just all be ASC. Right, there'll still be cost caps, and it'll have a full funnel inside of one campaign. So especially at a bigger budget, Meta will automatically segment warm and versus cold traffic for you based on the style of ads that it runs. Unaware ads is obviously going to target the top of the funnel, whereas if you're doing like product aware or most aware, that's going to target bottom of the funnel, and middle of funnel would be like problem aware, solution aware. It'll automatically segment which persona it is, and then it will show them that ad based on the ads that are in your campaign. There's no manual audiences by default, so everything will just be completely broad, and Meta will push everyone towards this setup, and it's where performance lives now. So the old system is slowly going to go, and the only ones that are going to have the old system are the old business managers, the old ad accounts, because for some reason I've noticed they don't update the old UIs. So if you still have CBOs, ABOs, you're still running them, then just keep that ad account for as long as you can. Just hold on to it, because once you update to the new ad account, you have only ASC as an option. This is why 99% of brands are actually losing. They're using recycled scripts, the same creator, and that basically shows Meta that it's the same ad. Right? So they're doing a headline tweak, which is no longer counted as a variation. And if your ad looks similar, then Meta will see them as a duplicate. So what you want to do is, instead of previously you could use the same visual and just change the text on the ad, you can still use the same angle, but just change the visual, change the writing, etc. And if you duplicate the ad, it's going to get reduced reach, poor delivery, and you're essentially just going to waste money on ads. So how Meta sees your ads now. Ads are embedded into a multi-dimensional vector space. So Meta clusters ads by visual visual plus conceptual similarity. So essentially, they're looking at ads that are visually similar or the same as the ones that you're running. And that's how they are going to group them together. So for instance, if someone continually buys products or clicks on ads that look a certain way, they're going to continue to show similar ads to that person. And if your new ad is too similar to old ones, it will get no exposure. So it will essentially just burn money. Your early performance is predicted based on nearby creatives. So if you know that, let's say a big competitor of yours is running up like 50, 100K days, and you make creatives that are very similar visually to that, it'll likely get pushed into that same algorithm and target your ideal customer persona. So if something's already working, you just want to copy it and obviously put your own spin on it. So what actually counts as creative diversity now? So as I mentioned before, you want to have different creatives per angle. So gender, ethnicity, vibe, what are their interests, what do they talk about, what are their beliefs, what are their identity, etc. You want to have different formats. So you want to have the talking ad, the meme style, the B-rolls, overlays, testimonials. You want to have different visual styles, so different color, different framing, pace, background, and tone. And you want to have a minimum of 3 visual formats and 3 creators per angle. So me personally, I'm actually testing 100 videos per week. And the way I'm doing that is by changing obviously the visuals, the gender, the ethnicity, the style, etc. on the ads. So you want to make sure you're doing that now, otherwise you're just going to get left behind. So the Dropify creative system. So first we have the diversity stack. So every angle, as I said, you want to build with 3+ creators, 3 formats, and 3 visual styles. So you want to have 3 different videos, 3 creators, 3 visual styles. So you want to do some statics as well, obviously for the same angle. This is for statics. So every static gets multiple layouts, models, color schemes, and messaging overlays. So obviously targeting the same angle, but you just want to change up those so you can have multiple different variations, and Meta will now see it as a new ad instead of as the same ad. Winning scripts or like winning iterations of your ads, because at the end of the day, you want to expand on what's already working. You don't want to constantly be testing new angles, new concepts, new avatars, etc. And then 40% of new concepts from new angles based on your research. So let's say you find negative comments or you find positive comments and you decide to go down that angle and make ads that are congruent with that angle, then that is the 40% of what you want to be doing. So this is how Dropify is actually dominating the new meta. So we don't just run ads like everyone else, just post up a random landing page, ads, ad copy, and just split test. Right? We actually train Meta's AI what to learn. We don't fight the algorithm, we feed it signals. So what we do is we feed it creatives that it actually wants to see, and we scale because we use creatives that are similar to other creatives that have done well, as I just spoke on the winning iterations. So if you follow this structure, then you're going to do very well for a long time and you're not going to be left behind like 90% of people. So next we have the key mindset shift for 2025. If you want to change the way you think, you don't want to think as a dropshipper, you want to think as a brand owner, as a business owner, right? Because you're not just a media buyer anymore. Now you have to think creatively. You have to think as a creative strategist. And if you're not constantly feeding Meta with new creatives that are actually backed by research, you're going to get lapped by people who actually do the research and put in the correct work and time into making sure they see results. So the next steps that I would recommend everyone to do is to run a creative audit. So you can use a tool like Artria. You go on there, put all your ads on there into a board, and then you want to ask yourself, are they visually unique, right? Because if they're not, as I said, it's just going to be counted as one ad. And you want to actually be tracking your ads. So you want to make sure every ad that you launch, you track it. I do actually have a system for this, which if this video gets 100 likes, I will drop the system in my free Discord below. You guys can join that. And if you are interested in one-on-one coaching, click the first link in the description and book your free demo call. And on that demo call, we'll do 3 things. Number 1, we'll audit your current situation. Number 2, we'll see how you can reach your goals. And number 3 will see if you're the right fit for our program. So book a free demo call and we'll see you on there. So next thing you want to do is you want to start angle brainstorms weekly. So not just hooks. You want to use things like ChatGPT, deep research, Manus AI, or just manually just going through like Reddit forums, Amazon reviews, and finding angles, because the angles is actually where you're going to find the gold, right? Because if all your competitors are targeting a certain angle, now you test another one and that starts to do really well, you're essentially the first to that market. So it's finding a blue ocean within a pre-existing red ocean, all right? So that's why you have to feed it different visuals. So with all this being said, I hope you guys are prepared for this new meta update, and I hope you guys take action on this. And if you did enjoy it, please hit that like button and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.